Okay, welcome back, guys. We've got yet again another opponent preview. FSU really needs a win this week, coming off of two big losses, one being an upset, another a rivalry game in which you weren't particularly competitive. I did break down the film of both of those games. They're very long watches, but if you guys have any interest in reliving that, trying to figure out my take on what went wrong, be sure to check that stuff out. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at Pitt a little bit. I like to start off with some graphics always. I think these are good, and FSU's numbers are definitely I don't want to say inflated because even the traditional statistics they're still super high up in. But this is including every game. They're probably not they haven't been the 10th most efficient team in the country this year. If you include the Kent State game, which is what's happening here. There's no FCS. Um, what is legit, I think, for the most part, is some of the success rate stuff over here. As you can see, FSU is eighth nationally in rushing success rate. It's just how often you're getting a positive play. 35th in passing success rate, pretty solid. Where FSU really excels is the passing explosiveness, which is not on this chart, but that's something they can look to exploit against Pitt, who has struggled to prevent pass explosives and has also struggled to prevent run explosives. Additionally, Pitt came into the year. Their best player was their running back, Desmond Reed. He's really, really fun. He's electric, to be quite honest. I think he had about 1,600 all-purpose yards last year, sixth nationally. He's 5'5", 170 pounds. So like this dude makes Jalen Lucas look like a relatively normal human being. That was wow, normal size, not normal. Um, but he is super super good. But he's been out for a few weeks. I was kind of under the impression after last week that it might be a little bit while or a little while longer until he's back. Apparently, some of the Pitt writers are saying the same, but he was also out there warming up before the game and did not play. So I guess we're kind of just in wait and see. I'm filming this Thursday afternoon. We'll get the first availability report tonight at 8. There's definitely a few guys you'd like to watch for on there. Barker, Pettis, obviously Desmond Reed. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few guys, but yeah, injuries will definitely play a role in this game because this has been an abysmal rushing offense ever since he came out. And honestly, even when he was playing, they had some struggles that were not on tape last year. So let's see. Is there anything else we need to look at on here? That was all I had circled. Yeah, the run game, success rate, and EPA is really bad for Pitt. Third and fourth down success is pretty rough. Yeah. Generally, FSU has the more well-rounded offense, and FSU's run defense has been strong enough where I think if they don't have Desmond Reed, they can kind of dominate in that area. All right, so now let's look at a few of the offensive grades. I tried to filter this the best I can to only include guys who actually play, but it's stupid. They're very weird about it. So like you can ignore this guy at the bottom with a 13 pass blocking grade who only played in blowouts. Uh, the tape I did not love the offensive line play. I came into this year actually thinking I had done scouting reports on 4 of their starting offensive linemen for the NFL draft, which was the most I had done. Them and Texas A&M, I did 4 for both of those schools. It's not exactly the Pitt standard. I don't think they are used to that. And it was mostly based on athletic traits, upside. You have a left tackle who transferred in from Michigan, former big-time recruit, never really played. The right tackle, Ryan Bayer, I believe was I think he was a No, he came in out of high school. He was really strong last year. As you can see, he's having a bit of a rough and up and down. Sorry, excuse me, guys. Up and down season this year, particularly in pass pro. But he's a good player. He's not a traffic cone, so to speak. The pass rushes. What I'm getting at here is these guys came into the year with, I think, a decent expectation, and they have not lived up to it. And you need a get right game as the pass rushing goes because we saw the numbers. It was so brutal last week. Granted, they didn't have a ton of opportunities, if any, to pin their ears back on obvious passing downs. But yeah, man, this is the week to do it. I do particularly like Lyndon Cooper. I like B.J. Williams. Yeah, B.J. Williams was a pretty good recruit. He was started early. You can see down here, Deuce Span has basically these aren't showing his receiving numbers, but he's basically matched his production in 3 years at FSU through 5 games. But that's kind of telling a misleading story. He's been extremely inefficient. Um, One of the lowest yards per route run marks in the country, which is a very good indicator of success. Uh, let's see. Oh, down here is Percy. He's their other tackle. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Kenny Johnson, their number two at receiver, he's a pretty good player. He had a few really nice catches in the game this past weekend, but he also has very inconsistent hands. I noticed it's kind of like a Johnny Wilson deal. Um, he's a good route runner, creates separation. Let's take a look at the defense, and what I really want to emphasize here. There was a lot of talk about the Pitt linebacker duo coming into the year. Uh, they were the only, I think PFF only put Pitt to have two of their top 10 linebackers in the country. So last year it was Rasheem Biles, who, as you can see, has an elite 83 grade, elite 90 run defense grade. He's been really well rounded, isn't missing tackles, 86 pass rush grade, 8 pressures, 3 sacks as an off ball linebacker. That's actually the same dude who was like fighting the pit ball boy, but I don't know, maybe you like that intensity. And then the other guy we need to shout out is down here at number 15, Kyle Lewis. So Kyle Lewis came in with definitely more hype than his running mate entering the year. I think he was PFF's number 3 linebacker. And he was a stat sheet stuffer last year. He led all Power 4 linebackers in run stops. He was second among all Power 4 linebackers in pressures with 31, which would have tied Darrell Jackson for the most on FSU last year as an off-ball linebacker. And he had 5 interceptions, maybe 4. But either way, just ridiculous production. He has still been good this year, but not quite on that same level. He had been a pretty solid tackler in the past. He hasn't been quite as sure-handed this year, but that's really the story of this game. And how are these two going to be able to handle your rushing offense? How Pitt trusts them to cover the deep middle of the field. They run a lot of like Tampa 2 sort of looks where they'll drop them both back and bring up their safeties or whatever they might do. But they really like to get creative with these guys in all aspects of the game. I mean, you can see they both have 8 pressures this year. So that's who I'm going to be watching. I didn't come away super impressed by any of their defensive linemen. You can see here that Jimmy Scott has 13 pressures. They were not in high leverage situations. They were not anything super impressive to me. They do have this third linebacker who I didn't really notice a ton on the plays I was watching, but he's playing a ton with Lewis and Biles, and he's grading out even better than Lewis. So if you include all 3 of them, you can probably make an argument this is a better linebacker core than even Ohio State has. And they're probably going to have 2 top 20 picks at linebacker. So this is probably the best position group outside of like the Miami defensive line, maybe offensive line, that you will see all year, I think. Yeah, I think so. Because Clemson hasn't played up to their standard expectations. Florida offensive line has been up and down. I think that's probably the best position group you have. You can see down here, much like FSU, their lowest graded players are their starting safety and their starting corner, I believe. For FSU, it is the exact same. So, we'll be targeting those guys. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about their new quarterback. Obviously, they bring in a transfer from Alabama last year, who was their starter, had a solid year. Started off, Pitt was 7-0, and they proceeded to lose, I believe, their last 6 games. So he did fall off a cliff a little bit. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, against Louisville, Pitt goes up to an early 20-plus point lead, and Holstein just completely blows it. 2 really, really rough interceptions. So they go to their true freshman, 18-year-old 3-star. And man, he looked pretty good in the Louisville game. He didn't bring him back into it. He dominated Boston College. Now, Boston College might be really, really bad. Like, they might be extremely bad. But something that really jumped out to me, and granted, you could see they threw the ball 45 times, dropped back 54. This is in a positive game script. They won by 40 plus points. So this is a team that understands they cannot run the ball right now. They want to drop back and pass. And you could see here, BC got zero pressure on this dude. Only 22% of the time was he under pressure. And so obviously there's some sample size stuff here. He has a higher grade under pressure currently than he does when kept clean. Now, why is that? Well, when he's standing in the clean pocket, he is not there yet when it comes to diagnosing his reads, determining where it's smart to go with the ball. But man, when he can run out of the pocket and play that backyard style football, whether it's the throw on the run, he threw right to the corner of the end zone, his receiver dropped, he'll drop like whole shots down the field. I don't know if that's sustainable, obviously. You aren't typically better under pressure than from a clean pocket. But it's as much as I said FSU needs to get pressure, if he somehow maintains that.
I will get right back to Clay's film review, but first I do want to tell you about the Sleeper app and their new promotion. If you've been cheap, if you've been lazy, if you just haven't wanted to deposit yet, you're waiting for payday, whatever the situation is, I've got you covered. Sleeper has a free promotion right now, a free $20 entry. If you use our code DFNS, use the link in the description, you'll get the free $20 play. You don't even have to deposit. You can start playing right now. When we preview the game on Wednesday night, you can play the more or less game with us and you can make money right away. No purchase is necessary. You just need to sign up and use our code DFNS. If you do deposit, you still get that same 100% match up to $100. You can win up to 1,000 times your money with Sleeper. Go and use our code today. Get the free entry. That'll get you in. You'll get hooked. You'll enjoy it. Check Sleeper's terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. We appreciate Sleeper for their support.
Oof, good luck. All right. So I just wanted to go, since this game got kind of out of control so quickly, I think this is their second scoring drive, and I think I went with the third defensive drive is what we'll watch after this. So start off, goes in motion. We've got a little quick out. BC defender comes flying downhill, wraps him up. Let's watch if there's any protection issues, because there shouldn't be on this rep. Nope, good pocket. All right, let's look at the next rep. There's some really intriguing ones on this drive. You'll see some of them get wiped off the board. I think this is one of them. Let's see. Come on. So, yeah, this is one of my favorite throws from him. I just think, and this is what I'm talking about. This is wide receiver number 2. He's got good hands, but man, he bobbles it. He always ends up pulling it in, it seems like, but not the most consistent hands. So this is a really well-timed ball. Maybe a little bit too far out in front of him, but he makes it work. Yeah, he has to stretch his hands out, bobbles it a little, puts his foot in the ground, spin move, get a few more yards. That's good timing. That's an advanced play for a true freshman starting in his first game. All right, drop back pass. Time to load up for the big play. So we're going to watch down here, bottom of your screen. I believe this is 2 again, yeah. So he's just going to drop it right in the bucket. That's it's a pretty much perfect placement. You see they leave their tight end one-on-one on the front side of this with a pass rusher. He's just able to give him enough time. I mean, that is about – look, there's the go ball is not one of the most difficult throws in football. It's really not even particularly close. But that's really impressive in your first game. He doesn't play a perfect game. But he played pretty dang close to being perfect in this one. This offense was just really rolling. So there was a penalty that brought that one back. I think you can't even see the first down marker. So I think it's like a 30-yard to go. Spoiler alert, they convert on a 30-yard set of downs. So here, just a little screen pass out to the back. He's got blockers. O-line can't maintain his block, but he breaks the contact and then just gets leveled. Leveled over here. I actually like this guy quite a bit, though. Number 8, they don't seem to give him as many touches as the other dude that's been filling in for Reed, but he's a good player. He's pretty explosive. He can get to the corner. The other guy's more of a 5 yards or so type of guy, 3-4 yards. So you'll see here, it's pretty impressive the way he navigates a collapsing pocket. Now, is he a little skittish? Yeah, man. That's still a clean pocket, dude. Like, get to your drop, let these routes develop. Granted, I don't think anything's going to come open. You can't see it from this frame, unfortunately. I mean, you can test this corner over here to number 2. Obviously, that's your guy. It seems like you. Oh gosh, yeah, no, he's gassed. I think that's your best option. Basically, you take that. You take those 2 yards over a sack. Is what my point is. So that's a fine play. Tight end makes a man miss. Gets at least to the line of scrimmage. So you take that. This is good protection. I said I really like their center, but this was my favorite play I watched from him in this game. Just doesn't even hesitate to pick up this stunt. Instant recognition of this stunt. Falls off the man he's blocking initially. Anchors, latches on. That's a good rep. Even better pursuit by his man to go chase that down. That's high-level effort. All right, we're motioning out to the bottom. Pitts, they like to get a lot of these short underneath routes, which have been killing FSU, and screens. RPOs, short underneath routes, screens. They have a lot of yards after catch, much like Virginia did. So if that tells you anything, we got to tackle. You can't miss 14, 15 tackles in a game again if you want to win this one. See, this is it's so irrelevant. I hate to keep harping on it, but he's such a good player, it seems like, and he just bobbles everything. All right. What down was this? 4th and 11. They're going for it. They want to put the nail in the coffin here. So let's see what they have drawn up. I mean, you have no need to go for this. I love it, but you have no need to. You're kind of in no man's land with your kicker. And he just throws a missile to the sideline. Definitely a little late to get through his reads. But, man, I mean, he finds the backside concept. He finds him open. He puts it right where he can get it. And that's a catch. He gets 1 foot in. Really, really nice pursuit downhill by the BC second level defender. But he was out of position, and this dude just rockets. He's got an arm. It's a very unconventional release, I think, especially with his lower half. His lower half is kind of a mess, but yeah, dude, that's a strike. He goes up. Really impressive ball skills. You'll never guess who that ball was thrown to. Number 2. Good catch. I don't think I actually noticed or saw how many yards he had in this game, but it sure seems like a lot. All right. So we got some down blocking on the front side, it looked like. Let's see. So as you can see, their left tackle here kind of gets stacked up by this defensive tackle. And then I think probably the wrong read is made. This is a read option, it looks like. I think the QB makes the wrong read. You have the unblocked man on the end of the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I think so. I think you could argue it, but it certainly looks better if the left tackle can maintain his block a little bit better, get some push. All right. Motion. I mean, that's good, dude. He fits it in a tight window. It's just a really good play by the defender. Yeah. I think that was accurate. It looks accurate. I've watched this a few times now. I don't know. He's kind of getting hugged all over. So 3rd and 6. But like ultimate takeaways is, I mean, they've run the ball twice, I think, and this quarterback sails that one. But like, you see things clicking for him throughout this game. Let's read this route concept up top. So you have like the shallow, intermediate crosser, sort of, so like a switch route up top. Yep. Gonna get the deep crosser to the back of the end zone to the same target. He overthrows him, but yeah, man. I mean, the processing has just really, really improves throughout the game. I think he's just clearly still getting comfortable, getting his feet wet, and you can. It's very apparent that he's the better quarterback than Holstein. I think they made a phenomenal decision benching Holstein. Not he's probably making a lot of money, Eli Holstein, and this dude is 18-year-old, kind of undersized, 3-star. He's probably not making jack, you know. So I respect that. I respect that move by the coaching staff. They realize that this dude probably gives them a better chance to win games, and yeah. All right. Trying to think any other takeaways I want to give on the offense before we move to the defense. Yeah, number 2, you can't have Jerry on him all night. I know that for sure because the change of direction, despite Jerry being built to stop that, has not shown up on Jerry's tape throughout this year. I'd like to call him Jeremiah again, personally, but maybe that's just superstition. Oh, do we have another? Okay, I guess I did include a few. Okay, cool. We got a few more plays on offense. All right. Roll out throw. Nope, never mind. I lied. I didn't crop it right. That's my bad, guys. But yeah, ultimately, you need to get pressure. You cannot let number 2 kill you. And the run defense, if Reed isn't playing, and even if he is, he's not going to be 100%. The run defense has to play how it has been playing, because if it doesn't, then what are you hanging your hat on as a defense? Because the coverage has emerged as an issue. The pass rush has been an issue since week 1. All you could really say is, hey, even outside of the Kent State A&M or East Texas A&M games, these teams really haven't run for a whole lot on us. I mean, obviously Virginia turns into a shootout, but you know, and they sold out to stop the run against Miami, but they stopped the run. And if you play with numbers, I don't know. I'm curious what their approach is going to be because the passing game is just clearly so much more dangerous. But do they want to just erase the run game if Reed isn't playing? Do they think they have that type of talent up front and at linebacker? And would they rather sell out and make Holstein, or not Holstein, whatever his name is, I don't know, the true freshman, make him throw the ball? Because it looks like he can throw the ball, but he's going to be on the road in Tallahassee. It's going to be pretty loud, I'd like to think, even though it's a noon game. So I chose this drive just because I thought the Pitt defense did an amazing job of just like swarming to the ball. And I was surprised to look at the stats after and see that their havoc rate on defense is not particularly special on the year, because it just feels like they have like 4 guys on this team who can go up and get an interception on any given play. They have the best linebacker trio probably in the country, with all all have good run defense grades, good run defense stats, and they seem to fill downhill well. They seem to be comfortable blitzing. It just seems like a recipe to force a ton of havoc. And statistically, that just hasn't been the case, but you see it. I mean, you just love the intensity right there. I think that's actually, is that the duo, 3 and 9? Oh, no. Okay, so 0 is the guy who didn't start last year. 3 is Biles, who uh, you can see that intensity. He must have thought that was the Louisville ball boy. And then 9, who is on the opposite side, usually as the Will, because he's 6'1", 220 with incredible movement skills. He was the more productive guy. Did I say Biles twice? Lewis. Sorry, it's been a long day. I can't speak. But yeah, man. So actually, would we be better off on this angle? I think so. All right, we're watching some vintage Lewis over here. Just watch him. Over here, top right of your screen. I want you to watch how he puts his foot in the ground, starts creeping, Kalen DeLoach style. And really, if he didn't have to pull up just a tiny bit here, it looks like, because I think he thinks right as he crosses the tackle, I think he thinks he's going to mistime it and get a roughing the passer penalty. But yeah, he's able to get some pressure, definitely get in the quarterback's head. He was kind of seeing ghosts all day. He drops it off to his man. This is what I'm talking about, dude. Like these type of hits, they're going to lead to forced fumbles. The opponent remembers those plays, even if they don't. So the Pitt defense looks really fun. Potentially might not look fun Saturday for FSU fans, but fun to watch on film for sure. I'm gonna have to check out this third linebacker piece. He seems to be kind of like a combo of Biles and Lewis. All right, we got a penalty. Skip past that. But Biles is really more of like a traditional, old school, downhill run stopping kind of guy. And then Lewis is, I mean, he has not been amazing this year. Another flag. I thought I'd cut this out. Awesome. Lewis has not been amazing this year, but he came into the year with some top 50, top 75 draft hype, and he certainly could still achieve that, especially if he's able to come to the combine at like 235 pounds or something, because he is truly such a good athlete. And honestly, you know who else was 6'1", 220? Kalen DeLoach. You know what he's playing now? Safety. Like this might be a really good safety at the next level. You just got to be game planning for him because, as you see there, he comes downhill, meets his buddy in the backfield. So over here, we've got Lewis on the left side of your screen. Over on the right side, we have they're all leaving my head. That's the Bash Bros though, and you have 0 over here clogging up the middle, takes on 2 blockers. 11 kind of gets washed out. It's just textbook linebacker play almost every single rep. They get undisciplined occasionally, but these 3 just played so well together. Maybe 0 isn't even that good of a player. Maybe it's just that like he's surrounded by these 2. So you're going to see here, watch the coverage, how they use them. And I hate that I'm only focusing on these guys, but I don't see difference makers really anywhere else on this defense. I like one of their defensive tackles who they kind of use as a designated pass rusher a decent bit, but pass pro on the interior has been fine for the most part, so I'm not super worried about that. Oops. Okay, I do actually when I talk. You don't see FSU do this with their linebackers. I want you to watch zone, yeah. Maybe a hook zone, something underneath, sure. They are asking them to turn their hips and run downfield with deep developing routes. So Lewis over here, I think, just kind of has the flat, but 0 gets asked to turn and run. He definitely keeps his eyes down in the backfield for a bit too long and is able to get passed by. Over here, we've got 3 at the bottom. He's going to turn. He's going to really do an awesome job covering this covering this corner route. Super impressive. Yeah, it's locks in the middle of the field when these three are out there, and they play a ton. If I'm not mistaken, I think they are the third, fourth, and fifth. No, I think they're second, third, and fourth leading in snaps on the defense. So they love the three linebacker sets, and they love these three linebackers specifically. And I don't blame them. I'd take one. Certainly could help you out the last 2 weeks with some subpar linebacker play. Boom! I think they ruled him down, if I'm not mistaken. No, they didn't. That's right. Yeah, he does take this back. But yeah, I don't really know what to point out about this defense a whole lot. I don't see anything super distinct about their scheme besides general tendency to play zone, and they're pretty vanilla with their pass rush plans up front. I don't think they really stunt a whole lot. But yeah, the safety comes down, tries to get the big hit, bounces off of him, and maintains his balance. So here comes Kyle Lewis, and this is how we're going to finish off our plays. He's just going to see that this dude popped back up. He's going to close in on him, punch that ball out, recover it himself, and he's going to get a good 15, 20 yards, I believe. Or two yards, but 15 laterally, maybe. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got. I think the keys for FSU are the pass rush, the run game on both sides. You need to continue to establish the run for your team, and you need to take advantage of a subpar running game and continue to dominate in the trenches in that area, which I think they have, to be honest. I don't think that's much of an over exaggeration. They've been really, really, really good in the run game. But yeah, I'm not totally sure how I feel about this game. I think I predict FSU to win. I think I really trust this group to bounce back. I think they probably did try to bounce back last week, and Miami's just a really, really good football team. I know it was rivalry week. I factored that into my prediction. Ultimately, I think my prediction might have been like spot on. I think I said like 31-25, so 6 points or whatever, but we all saw the game. We know that that's not representative of how it looked. So let's see. I think I'm going to go FSU 35, Pitt 24. So it's 10.5 still, I believe. I'll take them to cover. I think they are going to come motivated, and I don't think Pitt has the talent to take advantage of them in any area, basically. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I've got way too many classes and homework and stuff to do. It's super fun, not nearly as fun as this. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hopefully, I'm breaking down a win next week, and hopefully that means it's not 2.5 hours plus. But no guarantees. No guarantees. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.